Welcome to the Keep It Spiritual podcast with me, Chris Meredith. Now, really hope you enjoyed the last episode as I caught up with Gwen Akora as she let me into her world with spirit and, of course, her journey with one of the UK's most famous mediums, the late Derek Akora. Now, if you haven't listened to it, make sure you check it out after this because it really was one of my favourite podcasts and interviews to do. So go and check it out after this. I also have a video series called the Keep It Spiritual Show. This is on YouTube right now, and on there at the moment I have an interview with editor of Soul and Spirit magazine, the lovely Rosalind Moody, and most recently I caught up with TV spiritual medium Barry John. So make sure you just search for the Keep It Spiritual Show on YouTube now. In this episode of the Keep It Spiritual podcast, it's a first as I bring to you a live recording of my interview with one of my favourite angel authors, the beautiful Lorna Byrne. Now, I've spoken with Lorna on many occasions, however, with everything that's going on in the world, this time it just felt even more important to hear from Lorna and what the angels make of current situations. So I truly hope you enjoyed this live recording with Lorna Byrne. Within this, we bring you hope, love, and of course, the angels and so much more. And I hope you find a little bit of calm on the Keep It Spiritual podcast. So here is Lorna Byrne in conversation live with myself, Chris Meredith. First of all, Lorna, I'm so excited to obviously be speaking to you once again. So how are you doing?
Well, I would like to say thank you for doing this, and I'd like to welcome all of the people that will be listening in, and I want them to enjoy themselves as well. And I know lots of people were disappointed because I couldn't go to Manchester, but that's just the way things are at the moment. But I'm here now, and I know later, next year or whenever it'll be, I'll be able to go. So to me, that is just wonderful. And I'm just so happy to be here. So I'm just looking forward to, what kind of conversation we're going to have. So I'm looking forward to that. So let's go. Let's start.
Definitely. Well, it's exciting, and of course, with technology today, we can do things like this. So, people can still see, you, and we can have this conversation, and it's exciting to see that, isn't it?
Oh yeah, very. I think, people shouldn't be, I know what's happening in the world today. It is going to pass. We are going to get through this. But I think it's, we just have to kind of do what, the people that have the, what would you say, the know all about it, and just get on with life and ask your guardian angel to help you and to protect you in whatever way your guardian angel possibly can. And if you're to wash your hands a bit more often, or like the other day, a couple of days ago, I saw two little girls, and they saying to the granny, Granny, we have to walk ahead of you because we can't walk beside you, because we have to not let you get sick. And I thought that was a lovely thing to see, and just watching their guardian angels and the grandmother's guardian angel, just literally wrap around the grandmother in protection, and just seeing the concern of these two little girls of their grandmother. It was just, these are just things I see every day. Every day, sorry, the voice going. Every day.
It's lovely to see, Lorna. I mean, it really, really is. And obviously, it's reassuring, for us to know that, because, of course, it is worrying times with everything that's going on. And we will touch on that throughout this conversation with you. But first of all, Lorna, I want to go right to the beginning with you. So, of course, you've now released over 7 best-selling books, and it all started with one of my favorite books, which is Angels in My Hair. I mean, and today it's such still an important book. I mean, how did that book first come to be?
I suppose it came to be after God and the angels pestering me for years, that one day I would write about God and us, as the angels would have said. And when the time came and I actually finally said yes, and I suppose that time was many years before Joe actually had died. and I had been wheeling my daughter home in her pram, and the Archangel Michael came up behind me. And being a busy mom, I didn't want any annoyance. I had lots of things on, and kind of getting annoyed and, giving out. And he just saying the message is that it's getting near time for you to write. But it was many, many, many years later. And I suppose all my life I was avoiding saying yes. I still do that today. Sometimes God would say to me and the angels, why do you hide from me? But the thing is, you can't hide from God no matter what. It doesn't happen. But I suppose it did take great courage. One of the things that worried me a lot was, being laughed at and ridiculed, and being dyslexic as well when you can't read or write. So those things worried me then, were on my mind. And, even in a sense, what would I call God? Because I'm Irish. So most of the people in Ireland were nearly all Catholics, and that was one question I always remember saying to God, what will I call you? And the answer he gave back to me, I actually shocked me, because he said to me, Lorna, what do you call me? And I was kind of stunned, and I just said, God, of course, and he just said, God is universal. To say God as such. And I know people of different religions to say to me, well, why don't I call God Ali? And Catholics would say, why don't I call God Jesus or Father? And there's so many other names, but we have given God so many different names. But God is universal. Everyone knows who you're talking about when you use that word. And everyone knows who you're talking about when you use the word angel. We know we're talking about God's angels, and that's important. And I think it's so, the world needs God's angels more than ever before. And because in one sense we have lost our way, because of all of the material things. We kind of started to believe that life was only about material things, and now we're starting to realize it's not. Material things don't bring you love, they don't bring you happiness and joy, and they don't bring you peace. And they're the things we're talking about. So in one way, yes, we definitely need the angels in the world today, and we need to connect more to our guardian angel. We need to, in one way, realize that we're not just a human being. We're not just men, women, and children. We're a spiritual being as well, and we have a soul. That makes me smile, because I was talking to a mother the other day, and I don't know what country she was from, but she was talking to me, and she said, well, I asked my little girl how her soul is. And I said, yes, of course. And her guardian angel. Your little girl, it's like, when children are born, they are so pure. Their soul is so forward within their body. It's, and again, that's one thing that attracts us to babies, because we see that brightness, but yet we're blind to it as well. And that's the brightness of the soul. And little children, they see the angels, but they are aware of that brightness within other young children around them. And I think it's just something we have to remind ourselves, is that we have a soul and we have a guardian angel. And, what's that word sometimes we use? Supernatural. Mm-hmm. It's the word that, in a sense, blocks us, because we look on it in such a negative way, but yet God is supernatural. Jesus is supernatural, Allah is supernatural, whatever way you call God. And your soul is the same, and so is your guardian angel and all of the other angels. And it's kind of just to maybe let that go and just say to yourself, I have nothing to lose but to believe, to give myself, it's kind of like give yourself a test. I want to see, will my outlook on life change? Will my attitude change in believing that I have a guardian angel, in being aware that I have a soul? Will I start to feel more confident within myself? Will I start to feel a little bit more peace within myself as well? There's my voice again. I'm giving out to God and the angels over that. My voice changes a lot. But we need more faith. And, the way the world is today, we even need more faith than ever before. And
we do. We do there, Lorna. And with that as well, you're talking about faith there, and you talked a little bit in there about, your journey to, your first book, Angels in My Hair, but also that, you have dyslexia, you're dyslexic. So, you struggle immensely, with writing and reading, but yet, you've got 7, biggest selling books around the world, which I just absolutely love. So was it important for you to not let that condition to hold you back?
I suppose it was, I actually really never focused on it. It's kind of like, just that's the way things are. And the angels have always taught me to kind of get on with things, to try and do my best. So it doesn't really bother me. The only time I get frustrated is going through an airport, or you're in another country, and if all the signs were the same, I could learn them. But because they change, sometimes that's why I can't travel on my own. And I won't let the angels help me, because that was one thing. Even as a child, I used to say to them, no, I'll do it myself. I was very determined, to do things myself. Now they would help me, but sometimes I would scream at them, go and no. And of course, even when I'm given directions, if you gave me road directions, you drive down this road and you go left, then you drive, you go, more than likely I would go right instead of left, because even my right and left mix up. But as a child of all these 60 years of practicing, so you're always practicing when you're dyslexic. So I practice, this is the right, this is the left. So I have to kind of find
a way for you, which is important. Yeah. I think, for many people that are watching, necessarily the ways that everyone does things isn't necessarily the way for you.
Exactly. And I think that is when the first book came out, Angels in My Hair, and even right up to today, I meet so many people that have, dyslexic or other issues. And they would say, you give us great courage, great confidence, because if you can do it, Lorna, we can. And they might be studying maybe to be a dentist, but they have dyslexia, but yet they will turn out to be a brilliant dentist.
And that's
that's what it is. Remember.
And it is, and that's what we should remember is, not to hold us back. Just because on paper it says we can't, doesn't mean that we shouldn't.
Exactly. We're all unique, each and every one of us, and we all do things differently. And that's something that's, very special about us all, that we are.
It definitely is, Lorna. So, I mean, yourself, Lorna, you stand for so much. You're a peace ambassador as well, which I love. You're an inspiration to millions of people around the world, throughout your teachings. And also as well, you're unlike anybody else because, of course, you see and you speak to the angels every single day, and of course since she was a child. So, I mean, when did you first realize that this was your gift, Lorna?
Oh God, I have to smile because no one has ever really asked me that question in that way. I suppose I actually never looked on it in that way whatsoever. That's the first thing to say. It was only when Angels in My Hair came out, people started saying that, and I'm still kind of looking at you in that way, saying, "But what do you mean?" Because we're all gifted. You know, if you can get up and walk, you've that gift. You have a beautiful gift. You're sitting here talking to me. So I never thought of it in that way, you know. So it was really only, sorry, the voice again, when Angels in My Hair came out, people just saying that when, you know, you have a wonderful gift, but we all have many gifts, you know, and we forget that. You know, we've got just so many gifts. You have the gift of hearing. Like, I meet so many people that have lost, if you want to use the word gift, have lost gifts that they had for say 30 years or 40 years, and suddenly one of those gifts was taken away, and they were kind of shocked, and in a sense suddenly realized and appreciated, you know. And sometimes we would say, we'd think back to the past and we'd say, wow, how lucky I was. I didn't realize how many gifts, many blessings I had, because now one has been taken away. And that can be sight, that can be your hearing. You know, we kind of take for granted all of the gifts that we have, and we shouldn't. Even our scent of smell or taste, you know, even shaking hands with someone, having the gift to be able to shake hands, having the gift to be able to give someone a hug, having a gift to be able to speak. And lots of times when someone loses one of those gifts, it's kind of like, oh boy, I didn't appreciate my life before. And now you suddenly have more appreciation of life. But I always find those that might lose something get a huge zest for life afterwards. You know, more determination to accomplish, you know, maybe climbing a mountain, or riding a horse, or painting, or maybe driving, or maybe, you know, it could be anything, going to college, you know, working in a shop, and they get such a zest for life to accomplish that because they lost one of their gifts. So I would love everyone to say to themselves, and maybe look at all the gifts they have and say, right, I'm going to have that zest of life. I'm going to, you know, practice for that marathon, and you know what I mean, or get a bicycle, and I'm going to join a bicycle club and practice for that. Don't wait till you lose one of the gifts that you have.
Seize the day.
Yes, definitely today. And your guardian angel is always wanting you to do that, always wanting you to enjoy life, to feel that zest of life. And yet it's something that we kind of, let's say, put in a bucket and tighten a lid on it, and we say to ourselves, we're bored, you know, we don't want to do things, or get out into that. So today is a lovely day here in Ireland. It may be cold, but it's sunny. And if you can get out for a walk and keep your distance from everybody, get out and enjoy that walk.
That's what it's about. That is what it's about. Well, I mean, on that, and of course, you know, talking about, you know, the zest of life there. I mean, people everywhere, Lorna, I think now are quite slowly, but are getting there to wake up to their own angels and own guardian angels. Do you think, you know, is there a reason for that right now, why people are waking up more?
I think, again, it's, what would you say? It's time for us all to wake up. It's kind of like part of evolution. You know, the world has been in search of the spiritual side, and it has been put down. But now the world is becoming more and more aware, you know, and less people are not afraid to say they believe in their guardian angel, are not afraid to say they believe in God, you know. And I think that that's very important, because every single human being has a guardian angel. Your guardian angel takes every step with you. Your guardian angel is never, what would you say, in the next room and you're in this room. Your guardian angel is right here with you. And I know, I always remember some people saying, and do you mean in the bathroom as well? And I said, yes, but your guardian angel, they are such incredible beings, but they don't look on us in the way we look on ourselves. They just see us as the most beautiful thing of creation. You know, we are unique, we are beautiful, we are perfect in every way. And their love for us is unconditional. And if you're feeling unloved, just kind of say to yourself, you know, well, I know my guardian angel loves me unconditionally. So that's even giving you help to love yourself, to say that's okay. I will love me too. If my guardian angel sees me as worth it to love, then I am worth it. You know, then I am, you know, I am love, and I can love myself too.
Which is awesome. So important, Lorna, so important, you know, it is, you know, and it starts with ourselves, you know, and to love yourself, because, like, you know, so many things going on in the world today, and it's easy to not love ourselves, but it's easy to do that, but we just don't do that, do we?
No, we don't do it, but, you know, the angels are always helping us. Like, I would often see, you know, even unemployed angels and other angels trying to help a person to cheer up or to feel better within themselves. You know, the angels trying to help us to stir the love that's inside of us. And we have so much love inside of us because of our soul. You know, it's pure love. You can't run out of it. You don't have to be afraid of giving too much of your love away that you'll have none for yourself. That cannot happen. You know, so you can give as much of it away, because the world needs us to pour our love out, you know, on everyone, you know, to show that kindness and compassion. And your guardian angel is always whispering to you, you know, you should smile, or is always whispering to you. I'm sure there's plenty of people that would be walking along the street or sitting in a cafe, and they look in a direction and they get, you know, the feeling, or whatever way the guardian angel communicates with them, to say hello to someone, or to get up and open the door because someone is just about to come in. And that's actually showing love. That's showing that we care. And I suppose lots of people feel in the world today, even children, which is so sad, you know, that we don't care about each other. I always remember my little son saying, sharing is caring. You know, we should be sharing more. We shouldn't be keeping everything for ourselves. We should share as much as possible, because you can't bring anything. Your soul doesn't carry any material thing when your human body dies, but your soul lives forever.
Oh, it's lovely. Sharing is caring. I'm going to take that one, Lorna.
Caring.
You're definitely going to take that one. So, Lorna, with yourself, you know, you've worked with angels all your life. I mean, how has it impacted your life, and has it ever been too much for you?
Ever been too much for me? Well, I suppose the first part of the question, I know nothing else. You know, this is my life. You know, I couldn't imagine being anyone else than who I am. and the other part was, how does it impact my life? What do you mean by that?
So kind of, I've got my life and it's kind of, I'm busy with my day to day, kind of going out, taking Bert out and looking for, work and opportunities. But with you, does it ever overtake your life? Have you got, Lorna Byrne at home and then Lorna Byrne, we know that works with angels?
I suppose I have. I suppose, I'm a mother. I'm a grandmother, so I do all of those things a mother does. I wash the dishes, I make the beds, I use the Hoover, I look after Holly, and I look after all of the nature around me, with the birds and the butterflies and everything. And I suppose maybe one impact that I find hard is when, how would I say this? When I lose someone that I love, when I lose someone that I've been very close to, or that God allowed more than the usual connection. So I would often give out to God about that. Why did you have to take this person when you allowed that connection to become so strong with myself? And yet I'd be told of loads of positive where someone got well, and there's all smiles and everything is good and all of that. But on occasions, can I really explain that? On occasions, God allows a stronger connection, and it's very rare. So I did have one in the last 2 years, and God took them home to heaven, so I would give out about that, so maybe there. I love my work. I love helping people. I would help people as much as I possibly can, 24 hours a day, if I could. That's one thing God doesn't allow me to do, is sleep very much. And so I give out about that, if you like to call that an impact. I might say I'm going to bed and I might fall asleep for an hour or two, and then I'm woken up and told to pray. And I do that an awful lot, because the world needs prayer, and prayer is powerful. Mm-hmm. I would love to say to everyone out there, if everyone could say to themselves, they'll pray once a day, even for 5 seconds, even a prayer in the sense of, please help, or help the world. I know I wrote, Love from Heaven, and the prayer book came out as well, and just hearing people saying that when they open it and there's a prayer there and they find the message there that's happening in their life. It's all about helping people, helping everybody. And to me, the angels never, and God has never put up any barriers of religion at all. I would go to all places to talk, and as I have said, sometimes, an audience would have nearly all Catholics, but sometimes wherever I am, they could be nearly all Presbyterians, Protestants, or sometimes I go somewhere else. And I always remember, I don't know what country I was in, but it's happened quite a lot. And there was these 3 nuns, and afterwards they came up to me after the blessing and they said, Lorna, this was unbelievable. And just to see that we were the only Catholics here as well, it was just the way they said it with such love. And this, they were so impressed with the faith of the people, and we have to remember, people are mostly good. We've got to remember that sometimes maybe somebody might look like as if they're not good, but remember they have a guardian angel, and maybe something has just happened in their life that has made them angry, or has made them a little bitter, or makes them, in a sense, grab just for themselves. There's always something in the background that causes that.
There is. It really
love and compassion, definitely.
Definitely, there is. I mean, you spoke a little bit there, Lorna, as well. You speak about hope. Hope is a big thing, for us as people, and of course, to have hope in situations like right now. I mean, how important is it for us, to have hope, Lorna?
I think it's one of, what would you say? Hope is something that keeps the world moving forward. Hope is something that, how would I say? I don't know, I'm asking the angels, should I say this? But they're saying yes, because maybe people need to hear it. So no one give out to me, okay? But what I'm being told to say is, those in power, or those that want power or control over all of us, they don't want hope to survive, because hope gives life, hope gives courage, confidence. Hope makes people strive forward. And no matter what's happening in the world, we all need hope. And the angel of hope is, how would I say, a fantastic angel. And it's only one angel, which to me is kind of, I'm shocked in that way. But yet this particular angel gives hope to each and every one of us. And I know the other angels help as well. And again, prayer, has huge power. It can move mountains. And yet prayer helps hope. It's like it's all connected. Sometimes a mother or father will be praying for their children because they want their children to have hope. They want them to get on in life. They want them to get well or get out of a situation. Hope is always there. It's that light that angel holds. It's like such a big flame, and it's all the time beckoning. I can't say the word, but beckoning to us. The way that angel moves in the world, giving us the courage, to get up and telling us that we can do it. We will get through this. This will pass. Hope is, we all need it. So I always ask for everyone to have hope in their heart, hope in their life, and to see the hope in the world that is around us.
Well, I mean, you mentioned there, Lorna, as well, about prayer, and, you wrote a book on it, which is, Prayers from the Heart, the last time that you was in Manchester. But that book itself, and, we do forget to pray, even just saying the word God, it's important just to even say that word, but to pray, it is so powerful, isn't it?
It is. Again, I always use the expression, it can move mountains. But again, prayer gives us hope. That's why we're praying, because we're praying for the hope of whatever it is to turn out okay. And things do turn out okay in the end. I know we can lose a loved one, but sometimes if we lose a loved one, I always say to people, you pray and ask God for what's the best for that loved one. Don't pray and ask God for that loved one for what's best for you, because that you're really only thinking of yourself, of your hurt and pain if you lose your loved one. But you should always pray for what's the best for your loved one, and that gives you more peace in the end, whichever way it goes, within your own heart and within your own mind. And again, that's very, very important. But yes, the world needs more prayer. We need all to have more faith. And I know, again, the first question you brought in at the beginning, why the angels? Mm-hmm. But that's why they're here. And the unemployed angels are here in abundance. I'm still amazed at why the unemployed angels are still pouring down from the heavens, in the bucketfuls. It's like as if, this big, huge bucket is being turned over like this. And it's, and this angel comes tumbling out. And if you can imagine an angel so enormous, so big, so bright, and it's tumbling down from the heavens to our earth like a ball in a sense, and to allow yourself to imagine, that you can see these wings, because it's something I don't think I've told everyone before, haven't even written about it, but their wings are they're encased within their wings. And then when they come into our atmosphere and come through it, and just before, I don't know what distance it would be, but just before they come down, they unfold. So what's that word? Majestically, if I'm saying it right, in that way, and their feet don't touch the ground, and that's happening still today. So we are definitely in need of the angels. And again, I'm still hearing from children, teenagers, younger, older adults and everything, all ages, just saying they never knew they had an angel, a guardian angel, and what a difference it's making to them, just knowing that.
It definitely is. And I think, Lorna, like right now, everything that's going on, with the coronavirus, and of course, going into 2020, there was the terrible fires. It's not been the best start to, a new decade, really. I mean, is there any reason, why are we going through these testing times at the moment?
Why we're going through these testing times? I love the question. Well, one thing, I have been shown many futures, okay, and in the end, they all come together. And I think what's happening just at the moment is like wake-up call. Come on, wake up. We have been given a beautiful planet as a gift, but we treat it badly, and I know we can save this planet. I know we can, because that's one of the futures I was shown, that we make this world, again, like a little glimpse of heaven. So we have it within us that we can do it. And again, that's, our planet, trying to heal itself. Nature trying to fight back. So I suppose we have to kind of wake up a bit. And I know there's millions of people out there that are doing everything they possibly can. But I suppose we have to press our governments and everything like that. And we do need to plant more trees. But there's other ways that will help our planet as well. So that in a sense, we wouldn't have to have as many fires, that they could start naturally, but they wouldn't have to be so big, because sometimes fires are important for nature at different times, and that's okay. But I suppose the North Pole or whatever poles are melting, that's a huge issue as well. So our governments and science and everything knows that we're putting out too much pollution even today. So I to try, what would I say myself when I go in to buy vegetables? Please God, I won't have to buy any vegetables next year. I'll be working on growing all my own. But when I go in to buy vegetables in a supermarket, and I go to the organic side, and I have actually asked in the supermarket, why are the organic vegetables in plastic wrapping?
Yep.
You don't need them in plastic wrapping. We're meant to be making a big effort, and we have to educate our children. Like when I was in Canada at one stage, I learned about, that butterfly, what is its name? It travels thousands of miles, but their population it comes from one country, goes right across Canada into the States. So they really travel huge distance.
Wow.
But their population was cut in half. And in Canada, they have everybody on the route the butterfly takes, even outside shops. You see these dishes with fruit, sliced fruit, to feed the butterflies. And you just see, you could be going in the door and there's a load of butterflies having breakfast, or, another little bit for the rest of their journey. And the fruit is kept fresh for the butterflies as well. But then you would have other species coming as well to feed. We have to help nature, because we need nature.
We do.
I think that's one thing the angels and Angel Jimison, when I wrote about Angel Jimison as a little girl, and what I'd call his big stick, or, and he tapping the earth, and I getting such a fright and running, but he's a beautiful angel. He's the gatekeeper of our planet. That's what I would call him. And he does everything. And he's been giving so many messages to the world already. But we're still not listening good enough. We're still thinking money and material things are the important things.
And that's it. And they are. And hopefully, we will go and obviously know that it isn't the most important thing within that. So
we're getting there.
We are getting there. We are, positively, small steps. I mean, Lorna, you love animals. You're just talking about them there.
Yeah, I love them.
You do. And obviously you've got Hallie, a Westie. I've got Bert, that's a little Westie as well. And he's a big part of my life. And, with animals, do they have their own angels or guardian angels? How does it work with animals?
Well, I don't see personal guardian angels with animals, but I do see, I often watch angels, just out in the forest with them, or sometimes when I would be somewhere, I would see an angel along a riverbank, and I would know that there's an animal down there, and I would walk real quiet, to see, could I see it? Could I get a glimpse? But we are the guardian angels of nature. We're meant to be taking care of them. But the angels help all of the time. Even your guardian angel will prompt you that you should be helping the birds, or or the bees, or not to be killing the flies. Yeah, that's one story I'll tell you now. I was in, where was I? Japan or someplace last year, and nature has really collapsed an awful lot there. They're losing everything. But one thing that they have lost as well is flies. I know they're flies, and everybody says, "Oh, I don't like a fly." But flies are very important. They feed so many animals and birds, and even spiders, which people don't like either. But we need them all. And I was in a restaurant, and all of a sudden I saw a fly, and I just said, "Oh, look at the fly." And would you believe it? Everyone turned around to get up to have a look at this fly, because they don't see them.
Wow.
And that's because of pollution, or because of chemicals that are being used to, for the crop to grow better, kill all the insects. But if we kill all the insects, all the other beautiful animals that we love to watch aren't going to survive.
No, they're not. So
we're killing their breakfast and their lunch and their dinner.
Oh, Lorna. And also as well, quickly, just a last question for yourself, Lorna, before we do the Q&A. Of course, if this would have gone ahead in Manchester, it would have been for the Lorna Byrne Children's Foundation. And I know that's very, very close to your heart. And I just want to know, what was the inspiration, to start up that charity?
Well, that would be going back quite a while, so we won't go that far back. But it was one of the things the angels had told me, that I would have a charity for children. And I always remember them pestering me years beforehand and trying to get the courage up to say it to my children. And when I did say it, they kind of looked at me, how on earth you don't have the money to start a charity or anything like that. And I just said, we have to start one up. And so myself and my family and some friends, that's how we got together. And then that's how Susie came on board as well. And it's to help children in the world. I always say to people, even if it's €1 you can give, whatever, even the smallest amount, one day it could be one of your nieces or nephews that we're helping. It may not be this generation, but it could be the next that's just coming up. So I hope people will give generously to it, because we need all the help we can get. And I know some people would say, well, why don't the governments take care of it and all of that? They get enough in tax, but there's not enough of money to go around. And children are precious. They are our future.
They really, really are, and it is precious. So if anyone wants to donate, they can go to Lorna Byrne's website, and of course, you'd be very, very thankful. Well, that is the end of the interview bit, Lorna, right there. So, for myself, thank you so much. I've been so excited and looking forward to this for weeks. So it's great that we can.
Well, I'm glad.
I always am, that, but I always love, to be able to get back in, to your books and just reconnect. So thank you very much from me. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. And I'm delighted to just to be here chatting with you. I actually forgot we're doing a webinar. And just, that friendly chat. And the same happens on stage as well.
It was so exciting to talk with Lorna again, and I don't know about you, but I always feel so lifted and so excited whenever I speak to Lorna. But one thing, I always feel calm as well. So I really hope that you feel calm and reassured, and I always love that Lorna and our angels are always looking out for us, and they want the best for us as well. So if you are struggling at this time, just take some time out, use this quiet time to connect with your angels, and remember, you are never alone. And if you want to find out anything more about Lorna Byrne, head to lornabyrne.com, where you can find out everything that there is to know about Lorna. And of course, one of my favorite books ever is Lorna's first book, which was called Angels in My Hair, an absolute stunning book. And at the moment, if you're struggling with everything that's going on, one of Lorna's books called Prayers from the Heart is such a beautiful book. It's very, very uplifting, but it's great to have in times of great uncertainty that are facing us now. So make sure you check some of Lorna Byrne's books out, and of course her website. Now is a time in this podcast that is just for you. Take some time to relax and listen to your intuition, and possibly just to meditate and take some time out for yourself to be calm and just relax. So I hope you enjoy this music. There we are. I hope you enjoyed that quiet time of the Keep It Spiritual podcast and you enjoyed hearing from Lorna Byrne in conversation. Remember, that was live as well. And it was so amazing to catch up with Lorna and a very, very special interview for me to do as well. Well, now in the next episode of the Keep It Spiritual podcast, I'm delving into the world of chakras with author Tracy Jamon and looking into what can affect our chakras and how we can rebalance them and of course work with them ourselves. So make sure you do not miss that. And if you or your brand would like to sponsor the Keep It Spiritual podcast and get your brand and services out to a worldwide spiritual audience, then email me at chriscmeredith@gmail.com for the prices. Make sure you follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Keep It Spirit Pod, and to reach out on Facebook, just search the Keep It Spiritual podcast. And remember, we have a video series called the Keep It Spiritual Show, which is on YouTube right now. So make sure you check it out. All you've got to do is search for the Keep It Spiritual Show. Now, until the next episode, I've been Chris Meredith, and you've been listening to the Keep It Spiritual podcast.